Good morning. On today's news broadcast, voting campaigns, cool sweatshirts, and cannabis pills. Plus local sports, weather, and more. APSU-TV News starts right now. Good morning, I'm Megan Stamps.
And I'm Sydney Hawkins.
Austin Peay police this week were kept busy with reports of a possible human trafficking ring on campus. Police Chief Michael Cassis says no evidence was found to support these claims, but says the incident does serve as a reminder to students to be aware of their surroundings. Marissa England has more on that story.
Emily Walden was walking to class when she was approached by three women claiming to be with God the Mother Ministries.
It was really strange how they approached people. It wasn't like missionaries. It was just like, hey, do you believe this? Hey, you should believe this. It was a little forceful.
Walden says the women talked about the Bible and scriptures, but their insistent nature did scare her. Mother of the God Ministries has become part of a viral social media scare linking the group to human trafficking. Campus Police Chief Michael Cassis says no evidence was found on such a trafficking ring, but says students need to be aware of their surroundings.
I see a lot of people walking around campus either looking at their phone or with earbuds in, and they don't know what's going on around them. So having situational awareness is very important.
Cassis says it's often difficult for students to determine if a group approaching them is legitimate or not.
Because there are these offshoot missionaries that we've never heard of, but they might be common out on the West Coast, which is one of the reasons why we contact the FBI to see if they have any information.
Cassis says if you have any concerns, do what others did with God of Mother solicitations and either call campus police or contact them through the LiveSafe app. Marissa England, APSU-TV News.
The midterm elections are just 5 days away. Democrats are trying to keep the focus on the main issue polls say voters care about, health care. Meanwhile, President Trump continues to push over issues to the front as he campaigns for Republicans. CNN's Abby Phillip reports.
President Trump embracing demagoguery, tweeting the most racially charged political video in decades, demonizing immigrants and accusing Democrats of plotting to overrun the country with criminals. It's reminiscent of the notorious Willie Horton ad, financed by supporters of President George H.W. Bush's 1988 campaign, which played directly into white fear and African-American stereotypes.
Despite a life sentence, Horton received 10 weekend passes from prison. Horton fled, kidnapped a young couple, stabbing the man and repeatedly raping his girlfriend.
A source close to the White House describing the video and President Trump's hardline focus on immigration as an effort to change the argument from family unification to invasion, arguing that the inflammatory rhetoric is working to change the narrative away from health care.
They have to distract, they have to fearmonger, and his dog whistle of all dog whistles is immigration.
It comes as President Trump makes a number of false claims about the group of asylum-seeking Central American migrants making their way through Mexico.
They got a lot of rough people in those caravans. They are not angels.
You have caravans coming up that look a lot larger than it's reported, actually. I mean, I'm pretty good at estimating crowd size. It's a lot of young people, a lot of young men, and they have been doing this. They're pushing the women right up into the front.
The Mexican government estimates that the caravan from Honduras has dropped from 7,000 to about 4,500 people. Those that remain are still about 1,000 miles away from the U.S. border. President Trump admitted last week that he does not have evidence to support the claim that Middle Easterners are part of the caravan.
There's no proof of anything. There's no proof of anything. But they could very well be.
Wednesday night, again acknowledging he plays fast and loose with the facts.
I always want to tell the truth. When I can, I tell the truth.
Nevertheless, the president pledging to send up to 15,000 active duty troops to the border, about 3 times the amount currently fighting terrorists in Iraq.
Sending 10 to 15,000 troops, which means we're going to spend between $100 and $150 million so that he can have his I guess his surprise, his October surprise.
The president also doubling down on his false claim that he can end the constitutional guarantee of birthright citizenship, citing President Obama's executive order on Dreamers that his administration has said is legal.
Certainly, if he can do DACA, we can do this by executive order.
Mr. Trump attacking the Speaker of the House for challenging his claim.
You cannot end birthright citizenship with an executive order.
Meanwhile, Democrats attempting to keep the focus on health care.
You have the President of the United States saying, we guarantee, or whatever his phrase was, everybody's covered with pre-existing conditions is covered. Simply not true.
The November 6th election is right around the corner, and Austin Peay is making sure its students are ready to vote. The APSU student Democrats stationed themselves around campus, introducing students to candidates running in the elections. They made it their mission to engage with those in passing to discuss the importance of each and every individual vote. I got the chance to interview the organization and some of the students on campus who plan to go to the polls early next week. Last week, the APSU's College Democrats Club stationed themselves outside of the UC, encouraging voter awareness and early voting.
Voting itself is super important, but even more important is being an informed voter. So you need to vote at the congressional level for, federal laws, but then also at the state and the city level, because those are your local representatives.
So the reason that I am voting in the November 6th election is because my boyfriend serves in the military. So I want to respect him and honor him for serving and protecting my right. And then I am also going to be voting so my voice can be heard, and also because it's my right and responsibility as a United States citizen.
Clarksville Indivisible, a nonpartisan group, also participated with APSU's College Democrats. They provided information on voter registration and the benefits of voting early.
I'm voting in the upcoming election because our country fought long and hard to give us the right to vote, so I think we should vote.
The event had a notable turnout, with a constant bustle of people taking pamphlets, meeting candidates, and discussing the importance of voting in the November 6th election. If you are unable to participate directly in this election, you can always get an absentee ballot from usvotefoundation.org to make sure your voice is heard and your vote is counted. I'm Megan Stamps, APSU-TV News.
This Saturday, November 3rd, the Clarksville-Montgomery County Library will be hosting their annual SciFi Expo. This is a celebration of all things science fiction and fantasy that has gone on for 7 years in a row. This is a free event with activities, games, and crafts for all ages. There will be many community groups and local organizations present to give different scientific presentations and demonstrations. Our very own APSU's Goldsmith Press, Chemistry, Physics, and Astronomy departments will all be present. Face painting will also be provided for both children and adults. This free event will go on from 2 p.m. until 5 p.m.
Sweatshirts, tapestries, blankets, and more. The tents in the UC Plaza come to campus often, and APSU's Karina Galvan and Dakota Stewart got a closer look at just who is behind the crazy tents.
You might not recognize these sweaters by their name, but if you're a student here at Austin Peay, you'll see them everywhere when Tie-Dye Tom sets up his tents.
When Tom's here, come say hi. He's really awesome.
Senior Randy Jacobson talked to us about her time visiting with Tie-Dye Tom.
He's got a good business model. He'll actually cut you a deal. He's not trying to rip you off or anything like that.
Speaking of Bajas, we also got to talk with Mitchell Short, an alum that used to work for Tom.
Right now, we're getting into those colder months. I think a Baja would be right up anybody's alley.
He also let us know that even if a sweater is not in your future, perhaps you can still find something.
Look at everything. There's something for everybody.
And if you're not looking for anything at all, you can still come by, hang out, chat, and escape from the pressures of your day.
Students are able to come up and kind of let go of that biology exam or let go of that poor performance in their public speaking class.
Or maybe even take some free advice home.
I think that we should all get together and agree that tomorrow's going to be the best day because nobody's screwed it up yet.
And I believe our new friend says it best.
Everything is good quality here. You're going to get a good deal, and you're going to have good company.
This is Karina Galvan and Dakota Stewart with APSU-TV News.
For more on weather, let's head over to Aaliyah Harris.
Thank you, Megan. So the city of Arlington has declared an emergency. The private lake in North Arlington, Texas is in its early stages of collapsing because of erosion. The dam currently has water spilling over the sides and no homes have sustained any damage yet. If the dam collapses, the roads will become clogged with debris and many roadways will become flooded. City officials are making a plan to cut down damage in residential and business properties. We'll update you on the story as the story continues. So on to our weather. So the current national temperatures, we have Denver at 45, we have Seattle at 57, Los Angeles at 84, Dallas at 72, Chicago at 48, Atlanta at 62, and New York at 67. So in Tennessee, today's high is going to be 56 in Clarksville, 56 in Nashville. It's going to be 59 in Memphis, and then Chattanooga's 54 and Knoxville at 54. So tonight's going to be pretty cold. Memphis at 43, Clarksville at 43, Nashville at 43, and then we have Chattanooga at 39 and Knoxville at 39. So the current temperature right now is 46 degrees. It's going to be partly cloudy today, a lot of sunshine coming out, wind at 5 miles per hour. And tonight it's going to be nice and rainy, so 62 degrees. Please go ahead and make sure you have your coat on and your umbrella. So for our 5-day forecast, we have Friday, of course, today mostly cloudy with a high of 56 and low of 43. Saturday is going to be mostly sunny with a high of 62 and low of 45. So it's going to be a little bit of warmth there. So go out there and enjoy some kind of sunshine while you can before it gets too cold. Sunday is going to be partly cloudy with a high of 65 and a low of 53. And Monday is going to be back to cloudy and then the high of 69 with a low of 57. So we're going to get a little bit more warmth there. Tuesday is going to be lots of showers with a high of 68 and a low of 64. And still ahead, Gabe Jones tells us what's happening in the world of sports. APSU-TV News will be right back.
How will you lead to a better future? Will you lead through life-changing innovations, or will your leadership shine through the quality of your work? Success is defined by the individual. So it's time to think about the person you want to be and where you will learn to lead through excellence. It's time to become a governor at Austin Peay.
What do you think you'll be doing when you're 92? What about playing tennis at a national championship level? CNN's Mary Dunleavy introduces you to the tennis pro who moves around the court with ease, wins tournaments, and looks decades younger than his age.
If you venture to the Raleigh Racket Club, you'll find Tio Campanelli running the baseline on a daily basis.
Oh, I've been waiting for that one. He's in good physical shape. He moves very well. I work a lot at trying to stay in shape and trying to keep healthy.
His strokes are very precise. He is very competitive.
Tio's friend, Andrew, taught him how to play tennis when he was in his 50s because golf just wasn't his sport.
He could tell that I'd been quite frustrated, and as I passed the courts, he said, "Why don't you try tennis?"
Does he ever beat you?
No, he shouldn't do that. Okay.
Tio's been dishing out aces ever since.
With his teaching, I got started with tennis, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Tio's enjoyed it so much, he's still showing off his forehand at the tender age of 92. And he's not just volleying around. Tio is winning national USTA tournaments.
He didn't lose a set, and the tournament director said that as far as individuals 90 years and above, he'd never seen anybody serve like Tio.
Tio has won the 90s and above national championship twice now.
I seem to respect the age that I've been able to achieve this at, and that gives me a sense of pride and honor.
He does a lot of things like riding a motorcycle. He does his own yard work. He does a lot of woodworking. He's got endless energy. So beyond tennis, he inspires you in so many other ways.
Tio is living proof that it's never too late to find your sport.
I didn't start to play it later, but I was in good shape because of team sports.
It doesn't discriminate age, right?
So far.
For more information on what's happening in sports, let's head over to Gabriel Jones for a look at your Gov Sports update.
Thanks, Megan. Homecoming week was a success, starting with the football team. Our Govs gave the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles all that they could handle with a 41-10 victory here at Forterra Stadium. Junior quarterback Jeremiah Oatsvall had the hot hand, throwing for 279 yards and racking up 5 touchdowns through the air on the day. Junior Kentel Williams had over 100 all-purpose yards on the ground and through the air. Senior DJ Montgomery had 4 receptions for 111 yards and 3 touchdowns. Saturday, the Govs host Eastern Kentucky at 4 p.m. at Forterra Stadium. Last Saturday, our Lady Govs got the sweep over the Red Hawks to finish the season undefeated at home. Sophomore Brooke Moore posted a 10-kill, 14-dig double-double as the Lady Govs enjoyed their last regular season home victory. The Govs finished 10-0 at home this year. This is the second time in history the Governors finished undefeated at home in the regular season, the first being the 1992 team that finished 13-0. This past Tuesday, the Lady Govs suffered a road loss, unfortunately, to Murray State despite the 14-kill performance from senior Logan Carter. Now sitting at 22-3, the Lady Govs are set to face off against Eastern Kentucky on the road at 1 p.m. on Saturday. Golf. Our Lady Governors won in Nashville at McCabe Golf Course. Reagan Green was the top golfer on the day. That is all for golf. Basketball is back. Governors are set to hit the hardwood and get the ball back bouncing and swishing through the net. Starting with the women, their first home exhibition game will be against Georgetown College tonight at 7 p.m. in the Dunn Center. The men will face off against Oakland City Tuesday, November 6th at 7 p.m. in the Dunn Center. Come out and support our Hoopers this season. In national news, the Boston Red Sox defeated the Los Angeles Dodgers, beating them 4-1 in the series. This is the Red Sox 9th championship. The World Series MVP went to Steve Pearce. Congratulations to the city of Boston and the Red Sox fans. This is all we have for sports. APSU-TV News will be right back.
The honors program at Austin Peay started. There was a group of professors who thought, what are we doing for our strongest students? And since then, the program has changed and grown with the university. And now we have over 300 students who are in the program. It's open to students of all majors.
I wanted something that would set me apart from other pre-med students. So I thought the honor program would help me with that. It's pretty easy to make friends here because everyone here is focused on school because they're in the honors program, so they want to get something out of school. And it's just a nice place to come to study.
In the classrooms, they will be asked to stand on their tiptoes, is what we say. But the classes are more interesting. They move along a little faster. It's a place where those students can congregate to study, so I think students are better prepared for careers and for life in general through the academic curriculum.
Welcome back, everyone. Major new developments in Special Counsel Robert Mueller's Russia investigation. Newly revealed emails show then-Trump campaign chairman Steve Bannon talked to longtime Trump advisor Roger Stone about WikiLeaks. Those emails centered on WikiLeaks' plan to release Democratic emails stolen by Russia just before the 2016 election. CNN's Sarah Murray reports.
New emails reveal Roger Stone was in touch with a senior Trump campaign official, Steve Bannon, about WikiLeaks during the 2016 presidential race. Special counsel Robert Mueller's team has copies of the emails, a source tells CNN, part of its investigation into whether Stone actually had an inside track with WikiLeaks and whether he shared any of that information with members of the Trump campaign. In an email on October 4, 2016, Bannon, then the Trump campaign CEO, wrote to Stone, "What was that this morning?" Stone published the emails in a column Thursday for the right-wing Daily Caller. Bannon's email came shortly after WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange delivered a speech billed as an October surprise.
I understand that there's enormous expectation in the United States.
But Assange didn't unveil any new information, angering some of Trump's supporters who were hoping for a bombshell on Hillary Clinton. In a reply to Bannon, Stone explained the delay, fear, serious security concern. However, a load every week going forward. Stone says his email was based on public information. During his media event, Assange promised more WikiLeaks material was coming. Stone's move to publish the emails preempted a New York Times story Thursday about Stone's efforts to pitch himself to Trump campaign officials as a WikiLeaks insider. At least one campaign official told investigators Stone told campaign officials he had ties to Assange, according to a person familiar with the investigation. While Stone made a show, publicly and privately, of bragging about his ties to Assange during the 2016 campaign, he has since revised his story. Stone says he actually relied on publicly available information, tips from journalists, and a back-channel source, progressive New York activist Randy Credico. Credico has denied he acted as a back-channel.
And then, of course, there is the Mueller investigation, poking into every aspect of my private, personal, business, social, family, and political life.
Stone hasn't been contacted by Mueller's team, but nearly a dozen of his associates have. Still, it's unclear what charges, if any, Stone could ultimately face. The New York Times also published emails showing Stone asking Bannon to help him get funding from GOP donor Rebecca Mercer to spread a story based on no evidence that Bill Clinton has a love child. I've raised $150K for the targeted black digital campaign through a C4, Stone wrote. Tell Rebecca to send us some money. The request could run afoul of federal election laws. Stone says he never received any money from the Mercers, and he maintains he is innocent.
From your past. Of no crime in connection with the 2016 election or anything else.
Experts say a recent string of extremist attacks shows a disturbing trend in the United States. Just last week, 3 hate crimes, 2 were deadly shootings, 1 at a grocery store in Kentucky, the other at a synagogue in Pittsburgh, and a 3rd case involving explosives sent through the U.S. mail system. As CNN's Brian Todd reports, experts say there has been an increase in hate crimes in the United States for several years.
Carnage in Pittsburgh, thought to be the deadliest attack ever on Jews in the U.S. Multiple assassination attempts with mail bombs. A white man in Kentucky tries to enter a predominantly black church. Officials say when that failed, he shot up a Kroger supermarket, killing 2 African Americans. All those attacks just in the past week, part of what experts say is a jarring trend in America.
The terrorist is here. The terrorist is in Pittsburgh, Kentucky, and elsewhere.
There's a definite spike. It's been rising since 2012. We're seeing a lot of hate group activity.
A U.S. government report last year said there have been almost 3 times as many attacks by far-right extremists than by Islamist-inspired extremists in the U.S. since 9/11. What's caused the spike in attacks by right-wing extremists and others like them?
They saw political changes, the election of President Obama, demographic changes, and fear of outsiders, as well as a decline in employment during the first part of this decade.
Those who track hate crimes say that while President Trump may not intend to incite racist violence, extremists tend to use his words as an excuse.
But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
In white supremacist circles, they took this to mean this person supports us and we have a champion in the White House and we can now fight for a white America.
The president and his press secretary have vehemently denied inciting extremist violence.
The president has denounced racism, hatred, and bigotry in all forms on a number of occasions.
August 2012, a white gunman kills 6 people at a Sikh temple in Oak Creek, Wisconsin. June 2015, Charleston, South Carolina. White supremacist Dylan Roof sprays the Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church with gunfire, killing 9 people. Lone wolf attacks like those from right-wing extremists are what many security officials have been most worried about in recent years.
There's this new phenomenon now of the terrorist-inspired attack, the lone wolf. And it's frankly the thing that keeps me up at night.
Analysts say since the Charlottesville violence last year, when counter-protester Heather Heyer was struck by a car and killed by a white supremacist, the lone wolf threat has increased.
After Charlottesville, the leadership structure of the white nationalist movement imploded, leaving an opportunity for the more violent lone wolves who aren't just content to go to demonstrations, rising to the surface. And that's the risk we face now.
Take the Forterra Stadium, add 10,000 children, and throw in some candy and you have the perfect recipe for success. At least if you're throwing a Halloween party for the community. Alex Montgomery takes a look at this past weekend's ghost.
Happy Halloween! Happy Halloween!
The lines were long, but spirits were high, as thousands of children covered up the track at Forterra Stadium, hoping for more treats than tricks.
Did you get a piece of candy? Thank you. Oh, this is awesome! It's our first year.
Lots of brain. The Student Government Association sponsors the annual Ghost event. Organizers say the turnout was spooktacular.
This is awesome. This is awesome. We usually expect 5,000 to 7,000 people. This year, I don't know exactly how many we have, but it's a lot. The whole thing's full.
Student organizations manned the booth, donning some pretty horrifying costumes of their own.
It's a lot of fun. It's a good way to get out here and have friends.
I'm having a great time. It's great to do something for the community, and Halloween's kind of one of my things. So.
There were castles to go through, dragons to shoot, and candy galore to loot. Yes, everyone had a good time, even if they were crammed in a box attaching candy to fishing lines.
So much fun. I love this. They pay me so much.
Ghost has become one of the larger events on campus and is guaranteed to provide a spooky good time. Alex Montgomery, APSU.
In homecoming tradition, Austin Peay had a parade last Saturday to celebrate. Students and community members came out to see the mini floats and our own marching band. Let's take a look.
Hi, let's go Peay! Go Go! See red.
Hey, let's go, Governor!
In a move that has taken years of research and advocacy, the FDA has approved a prescription drug made from cannabis. CNN's Kim Hutcherson gives the details on this groundbreaking decision in today's Health Minute.
Some parents and patients across the country may be breathing a sigh of relief when it comes to treatment options for certain types of epilepsy. The Food and Drug Administration has approved the first cannabis-based drug, and as of Thursday, it's available in all 50 states. Epidiolex is a twice-daily oral solution for patients ages 2 and older who suffer from either Dravet syndrome or Lennox-Gastaut syndrome.
Many in the medical community over the last 5 years have started to be increasingly persuaded that marijuana, that cannabis, can be a medicine. This is the plant itself that has been distilled down into a medicine. So it's a plant-based medicine, and it's gone through the FDA approval process, clinical trial process, and is now available. I think that's very validating. During clinical trials, Epidiolex was added to 3 other seizure medicines. On average, it was able to reduce convulsive seizures by 25 to 28%. It is only available with a prescription, and while costly, GW Pharmaceuticals does expect most insurance plans to cover it. Advocates hope this is just the beginning for approved uses of Epidiolex and other CBD medicines.
Look at the cannabis plant that has all these various components. THC is the component that people associate with euphoria and getting high. CBD, which is what this particular part of the plant is this medicine, in this case, to treat seizures. So they're not getting the high from it.
For today's Health Minute, I'm Kim Hutcherson.
Well, you guys know the November 6th election is coming up. Have you guys voted yet?
I have not. I'm going to on November 6th.
No, but I think it's important to be an educated voter if you are going to vote.
Definitely.
Amen to that.
Yes, I would definitely vote on November 6th.
Well, that's good. Make sure to go to the polls November 6th, and that is all the time we have for today. Be sure to join us in the interaction by liking us on Facebook at APSU-TV Clarksville and Instagram at APSU_TV.
Thanks for watching another edition of your Gov News Weekend Update.
And as always,
let's go Peay!